Hey everyone, so one of the tough things about being in sales, besides constant rejection that you get from the activities that you're doing in selling, is the inconsistencies in income, right? Salespeople often complain about the ups and the downs of sales, but professional salespeople seem to consistently hit their goals month after month. So, how does that happen? Um, Basically, it's the activity that they do. And I know most salespeople are tired of hearing that sales is a numbers game, so they just need to do more numbers and they'll get more sales. That's all fine in theory, right? But how do you put that into practicality? How do you put that into your daily life and give you something that's attainable and achievable and realistic so that you have a clear plan of what you're supposed to do, not just on a monthly basis, but on a weekly and daily basis, and not just on the results. We know what the results are. You probably have a number in your head that you want to achieve, but what is the activity? How do we tie the results to the activity that you have to do on a daily basis? So I'm bad at math, so we're going to keep this really simple, but the formula is the same, even though it gets tweaked from company to company, industry to industry, because there's so many things that are different and unique and so forth. So you just follow along and take this and then customize it into your industry, but you'll follow with me real quick. So let's say you as a commissioned salesperson, your income goal, maybe you're at 7, 8,000 a month or whatever the number is, and you want to get to the next level at say 10,000 a month. So we're going to write that down. So we're going to say that your income goal that you're trying to achieve is 10,000 a month. Now, look at the last few months, last quarter maybe, of your sales, and what was the average, or maybe company-wide, what's the average sale amount and what's the average commission, most importantly, that you as a salesperson get from your average sale. Now that's all over the board, of course, because some people are commission only, some people are commission and salary, all those different scenarios. But let's take that the average commission for the average sale that you get is $1,000. Well, this is real simple, because if I want to make $10,000 a month and my average commission is $1,000 for every deal that I write or bring into the company, then I've got to do 10 deals every month, right? All right, so let's back that up further, because just thinking that I've got to do 10 and putting a post-it note up on my computer or on my dashboard of my car saying 10's the number, that doesn't help me today. What do I do today, right? So let's start backing those numbers up and let's look at that. Now, you might not know what your exact numbers are as far as your appointment to close ratio right now, but if you'll start tracking that, what I mean by that is you get in front of a certain amount of people every week, every month that are prospective customers, and you give your presentation and you have a conversation with them about their needs, and you try to tie that into the value that your product or service would bring to their company or to their person. And out of all those people that you talk to, a certain number of them consistently are buying from you. They're saying yes at the end of the appointment, okay? So let's say in this situation that your closing ratio of appointments that I have where I sit down and meet with a prospective customer to people that say yes, I've closed them and they say yes, let's say that that's 25%. So that's a 1 out of every 4, okay? 1 out of every 4, or 25% of the people that say yes. So I'm going to put a yes here, all right? Now, what that tells me is at 25%, or 1 out of every 4, I've got to take this number, what my monthly closes are, and I've got to up it times a 4 factor. So that means that monthly, my appointment goal is going to be 40, all right? Now, let's say, for example, that we have, I think, on average, 22 work days per month, right? But let's take 1 out of it for your monthly sales meeting. Let's take 1 out of it for other things, your personal day or whatever you have to do. And let's say that we only have 20, because I'm bad at math, that we only have 20 work days every month on average, all right? So if that's the case, and I've got to do 40 new appointments. Now, these are not customer service appointments included in this. These are not follow-ups with existing customers and things like that, but this is prospective new customers, right? People that have the opportunity to say yes to me. So what that means is now, if I'm doing a 20-day work month, that means that I've got to meet with 2 new potential or prospective customers per day. Not so bad. When you hear this, you might say, oh, I can get this easily. And then as the month goes on, you realize as you get to the 3rd or 4th week, oh my gosh, I need more appointments because I'm short on my sales, right? And you don't want to be like that. You want to dial that into a daily amount. And in this case, it would be 2. Now, the next thing we have to figure out, and you can, again, track this very easily. See, when you're doing the activity, it's easy to track because you can just have a notepad of paper with you and you can write down how many calls you made today, how many people said yes, or how many appointments you had this week and how many people said yes. So on calls, when I say a cold call, that's just picking up the phone and dialing, and or maybe in your industry, you cold call on businesses. You walk in, you don't have an appointment, whether it's a business or a job site, because you're meeting with builders or whatever the prospective customer, the way that you contact them to ask them for an appointment or ask them for time. That's a cold call. Now, experts are going to say, no, we don't believe in cold calls. We believe in warm calls and all this stuff. The truth of the matter is it's a cold call. If they were not expecting you to walk in at that moment, they were not sitting by the phone saying, I can't wait for the next salesperson to call me because Nick's going to call me and offer me a great deal here. They're not doing that. It's interruption marketing. It has to be done. But the reality is it's a cold call. And that's why we're respectful of them. And we talk about that in our prospecting scripts and how to address that and let them know it's going to be really quick, few questions for you, and then go from there. I've got videos on that. But let's say that my cold call to appointment ratio, if all I do is pick up the phone and make dials, right? And I've got to make 20 dials in order to get through to, well, let's say out of 20 dials, 16 of them are probably going to be voicemail, right? Nowadays, everybody lets their calls go into voicemail. So that means I'm going to talk to 4 people. And out of those 4 that I talk to, I'm going to get one of them that says yes, okay? So that means that in this situation, it's a 20-to-1 ratio, right? So that 20-to-1 ratio means that I've got to pick up the phone and dial 20 times in order just to get one person, one live body that agreed to say yes. Now you could say, well, then your closing ratio is actually, if you talk to 4 people and one of them said yes, you're back at 25% close ratio. Yes, it doesn't matter how you measure it, but the most important thing is to know how many times I've got to pick up the phone in order to get one person to say yes to an appointment, okay? So in that situation, one out of every 20 dials that I make nets me an appointment. So what does that mean? Monthly, in order to get my goal of 40 appointments, I've got to make how many dials? 800. That sounds like a lot again, right? But really it's not. Remember, if I said you're getting 15, 16, 17 voicemails all the time, that those are very quick and you're moving on to the next person to try again to get to a live body. So the goal is to get that appointment. Now, if I'm doing this monthly, or if this is my goal monthly, you break that down again with the 20 workday typical month, and you're talking about 40 per day. Now, if you've tracked this, and you will for a little while, and you realize I can average 20 dials per hour, I think you can do better than that, but let's just say 20 dials per hour. So that means I've got to do about 2 hours worth of phone work per day. Now look, the reason that this is so important is I know that salespeople always get busy. We get busy with non-selling activity. We get busy with entering stuff into our CRMs. We get busy with the paperwork that's required for the product or service that we're selling. All the questions that come from the support end of our company, you know, after we've sold somebody and brought on a new customer. So there's a lot of non-selling responsibilities that we have usually as salespeople. Every company is different. But if you'll take whatever the requirement is here and you'll schedule that, make a schedule with yourself, okay? That's going to help you tremendously. So that, let's say for example, that I've got 2 hours of dials I've got to do every day. Well, I'm going to schedule that. Now maybe some days because of the appointments that I already have scheduled, because remember, I want to get in front of 2 people every day in a new prospecting, face-to-face appointment meeting type situation. So in order for me to do that, now maybe some appointments are in the morning, some are in the afternoon, vice versa, I need to schedule maybe an hour in the morning for dials, and then another hour in the afternoon, or maybe I'm just going to put all my appointments in the afternoon, and I'm going to put my morning time 2 hours of constantly to knock out my dials and get them out of the way. Again, the goal is how many people I'm going to get to say yes for my appointments. So I'm working it backwards in the dials and stuff. Now, so many salespeople, this is so simple. Look, you don't have to go to another company to make more money. If you're a commissioned salesperson, you can make more money here. If you don't like that number, or whatever the number is that you have, you can up it, right? And you can say, okay, now it is what it is. I've tracked my appointment to close ratio, people to say yes. I've tracked my cold call to appointment ratio, and I know what that number is. Now, I just increase those numbers to increase this numbers. The activity brings the result. And I'm talking about without any sales training or anything like that. You've got a schedule, and you schedule this block of time to be able to do this activity, and this activity will bring results that are consistent with what you've already measured that you do. Okay? As a salesperson, don't be worried about, well, I don't make a schedule for myself and I kind of fly by. You're a professional. Doctors don't wake up in the morning and go, I wonder what I'm doing today. No, surgeons, and they have appointments. They have a surgery at this time. They have a consultation at this time. Even lawyers do that. Even blue-collar professions like auto repair technicians. They know you call up an auto repair technician. You can't come in today to have your transmission looked at or some work done, because typically, if it's anything complicated, they've got people that are scheduled to do those jobs. And I'm surprised how many salespeople just don't make a schedule for themselves. So one of the things that we talk about over here on the appointment to close ratio and the cold call to close ratio, there's a lot of opportunity for us to improve those numbers through sales training. So if I can give you scripts and ways to overcome objections and ways to get that prospect's attention when you first get them on the phone so they don't quickly just hang up on you, or you know what to say when they give you the typical, we're already working with somebody, we're happy with our current vendor, current supplier, I'm not interested right now, it's not a good time right now. When you know how to answer all those objections and still stay in the game with the prospect and not have them hang up, you've got more skills, and as you've got more skills, your confidence goes up as well. And prospecting doesn't become so difficult anymore, right? And what happens is then you start to realize that you can either make less calls in order to get more appointments, or you just get more appointments, which that way you're going to increase your income. The other thing is on the closing side of it. So this is the art of when you're meeting with the prospect, that you are asking the right questions to establish yourself as an expert and to earn the trust of the person that you're meeting with. Through the right questions at the right time, asked the right way, you're going to find pain from the prospect and be able to tie in your value of your service or your product to the pain of the prospect, okay? And when that happens, you're going to be able to get more profitable sales. Now, I know in this formula, there's a lot of people saying as you watch this, hey, that doesn't work in my industry because of this and that. Maybe you get company-generated leads that come from the marketing efforts of the company, and that's fine. Personally, I don't like to rely on those things. I like to be able to rely on my own activity to produce consistent results. Maybe in your industry or in your company, it's not a one-call close. Maybe it's there's a fact-finding discovery meeting in the beginning, and then there's decision makers and presentation and so forth. Whatever that is, this is why I constantly say that it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to sales training, when it comes to these formulas. But I always make up for the companies I'm working with a spreadsheet for the salespeople that contains this formula that we all agree is the right formula for your company. Your numbers, after tracking them for a little while, will get so specific and so accurate that it's going to produce the right results for you. And then you as a salesperson are in charge of the future for you, for your income and everything, depending on how hard you press the gas down on the activity that you're doing. So if you want to see what that looks like and you'd like to work with me a little bit more to customize that type of a sales forecasting spreadsheet for your company, just reach out to me and I'd look forward to hearing from you. My email is nick@lancasterbusinessworks.com. Thanks.